Alrighty, this is a game called Vampire Stroll. It's a very simple game. There's not really a win condition. It's you kind of just explore around. In this, you're a vampire, of course. You can see there, idle animation, walk animation. That's about all you get. Some different Z layer stuff whenever you walk around these signs. And also you have these WASD functions that you can see over there. Whatever form you are, the UI will be in white. Transform to dog. You can see also a bit faster now when you're in dog. Once again, a little walk animation, different idle animation. You have all these arrows saying that way, this way. You can only go so high up in the air. Go a little bit off screen, but overall your feet will stay on the ground. You can't go that far down. All the different forms have the same hitboxes. The rats are the fastest form. All of these forms are inspired, of course, by what Dracula can turn into. You also have a mist form, which is very slow, but it can also go through certain things. Go to the end, and boom, you end up in a sewer. So you cannot cross the water. The rats have a bit of a lower box here that they can't cross, just so their sprite isn't going into the water. You also can't go that far down. You have this kind of sign down here. Once again, boom, boom, almost there. Little more to go. Little more, little more, little more. Almost there. Let's just go. Wah. Sincerely, Van Helsing. And that is the end of the map. Though there actually is a way to cross the water, although it may not be realistic with what Dracula capabilities are, if you go to your slowest and likely least used form, boom, 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 you can now head over here. Once again, you can only go so high. Just for sake of simplicity, I mean, I could make it to where you could move that far up, and it would just launch you back down. Similar to what happens here, so, because if you go down to this hitbox, boom, it'll just, like, launch you down. Similar to that, because, like, you're overlapping with things you shouldn't be, but if you overlap in a certain way, you'll be able to head over. Once again, just more hitbox stuff, UI, Z layers. Keep heading this way, and boom! You can head back over here. Rat form, dog form, mist form, and vampire form. Don't think we really showed off the idle for this. It's kind of hard to notice the difference between that and the distance, but it does just kind of expand in different ways. This one kind of just expands up and down. This one expands side to side. The rats, they kind of just bounce around. You can see them scurrying just a little bit because you can see the little legs of the front ones. And that is it for the game. It is playable on itch.io. I will be adding that to the comments for this upload, and I will also be adding this video to here. Additionally, let's just go over it in Construct, which is where I made the game. We recently exported it. Coding in Construct is very simple. It's kind of just text-based. So basic movement whenever you're moving. Well, whenever you're not moving, it's idle. Whenever you're moving, walk, because I have all the different forms kind of as their own thing. Mirroring them, not mirroring them, depending on which direction you're going. Form visibility, so basically whenever you press WASD, it will change to, when you press W, boom, mist form visible, so on and so forth, through your different forms that correlate with the different buttons. So we have UI visibility and form speed. This does actually a lot more than it used to. So A, it's whenever, okay, is this form visible? Cool. So we change your speed accordingly. We change your current animation from the for the UI to be the current one instead of the not one. Because otherwise, as you see, rat form visible, else not, set it to not. Once again, we have a couple different things that are specific to things. So there's a sewer water one, which is meant to be a solid block for everyone, except for the mist form. Mist form, as you can see, it's solid disabled. Rat form has its own thing called rat solid water, just so give it to make it basically hitboxes line up better, so it's not just floating in the water. And then everything else is kind of accordingly. A lot of the other ones just kind of have different mixes of those, where like, okay, the sewer water solid, the rat one's not for me. Movement speed 50. Movement speed was 120 for the rat. Movement speed is 20 for the mist form. Movement speed is 90 for the dog. Teleporting blocks. These are just the blocks at the end of each thing. So teleport to graveyard, teleport to sewer. So the way those work is they destroy all your models. You wait 0.25 seconds, and it creates them down at the other end. This one will create it back down the other way, and it will also mirror you, just so you're facing the same way you were leaving. Overlapping signs, this is just to make it so whenever you're overlapping a that way sign, this way sign, if you're not overlapping them, it moves them to the top of the Z layer. If you're in front of them, it'll move you in front of them in the Z layer, moving all front of your forms in that. Just so I could easily add it into just one block of function. And then I got a little bit smarter when I did the almost there sign, because the almost there sign at the very least has the little bit more and the sincerely Van Helsing all within the same thing. So I just didn't need to do as many layers of code, which is good because it only gives you 40 free events when you do construct. And then this is kind of how things look within construct, because as you can see, we have these big old blocks, including these ones called wall blocks, which are all just there because they have behaviors so solid, just so you can't go through them. And you can kind of see they're all over the place, just to allow you to go a little bit beyond on certain things. This is the blue block that's like teleport to sewer. This red block is the sewer water. This kind of brownish orangish block is rat solid water, so it's just for the rat, so it's only solid to the rat. And this green one in particular is teleport to graveyard. I think we scrolled all the way down on this. Yes, we did. And that is functionally all there is for this project. Like, we could go further onto a couple of these things. Like, for example, we just edit behaviors. Generally speaking, all the characters have a scroll to and an 8 directional, with their 8 directional having 8 directions and set angle to none. They also all have allow sliding, even though that really isn't a mechanic that functions within this game. I just thought it'd be good to have that on in case I wanted to utilize it at some point. Maybe in the future I'll add different variations to this game, but for the sake of now, it's easy just to kind of get all these different animations in. This is kind of like just to show off my art kind of thing. There's not really a point in the game where you can see these roots, so I'll just kind of scroll through there. As you can see through the leaves, we have them slightly kind of just poking above. I had to duplicate a bunch of things in Photoshop to do that. And that is more or less where things stand. And then this is kind of just the vampire game folder. Boop. Has all these different things, a bunch of different sprites. We have the vampire folder. We have a rat form folder, a mist form folder, a game backup folder, and a dog form folder. All of you would have like a lot of sprite sheets and whatnot. The environment right here, a lot of the UI stuff, the game itself, that way sign, this way sign, and a bunch of screenshots which I have added to itch.io. And that is functionally it for the game. It was made primarily using Constructs 3. For the art, honestly, I used Microsoft Paint to actually create the base sprite versions, and then I put them into Photoshop to finish out the coloring, and then I put them into A Sprite for animation purposes. And that is how Vampire Stroll came to be.